Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
And my name is Mark. You sure you don't want to start the recording over again?
I'm so sure.
Throw it out there.
Got
I
it
don't
in
know
one.
what happened. I think that every time I start to say exploring, I'm like, is that the right word? And I don't know why. And then this time I was scared, apparently.
Well, it's approaching
We're talking about
spooky season.
Halloween.
That's
Yeah,
true.
right.
We're talking about October coming up. Anyway, today we're doing a revisit of our favorite nine-tailed fox, Ahri. At least my favorite nine-tailed fox. I can't speak for the two of you.
My second favorite.
Whoa, who's your first favorite?
Naruto.
Wow.
What can I say?
Wow. Who would win in a fight?
Naruto.
Probably,
Naruto.
right? Isn't he like a god or something?
He's part of an anime, and all them guys are overpowered.
True.
So
They're really overpowered.
especially if it's an
Yeah,
anime
he
that's
just-
lasted more than 10 seasons. At that point, the stakes need to have been
Yeah.
raised so many times that
He like ate gods and stuff.
right.
Anyway, Ahri has actually had like a big push forward, which we don't get a lot
Right.
since her release, because she is in the Ruin King game. And
Yeah.
I think I didn't realize how much of a push her story got until I was reading the actual summary of it, and I was like, oh, this is like actually exploring her feelings. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, all that things that her stories were like, I'm gonna do this. Then she went and did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
It was kind of a while. I listened back to the Ahri episode, and I think that was something that we had talked about liking about Ahri, was that she, all of her stories were kind of pushing her story forward, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice to see, like, I think we talked about, like, oh, she's in a good position to, like, have a little journey or a little quest or whatever, and then she had the little journey of the
Yeah.
quest. It's weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. I think where we had left her off is she was on her way to Bilgewater with Yasuo.
Yeah.
Because there was like a video that showed that, and we were like, oh, okay, that's where she's going.
Was that even out at the point? I forget if the Spirit Blossom had
think it
happened by the
was.
time we got to A.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think so, because I remember, yeah, we talked about it in the episode, or we talked about it in the episode.
Yeah, so
Pretty sure.
that's where her shit picked up. How do we want to approach this? I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Did you have any thoughts? Like, because did y'all both reread all the pieces? I know I did. Did you have like other feelings or things you wanted to talk about, like, from them? Because I had some like notes for the bio again, and
kick it off,
some of her
yeah.
stories.
I was going to say there was so much AU stuff that, no, I was told I didn't need to worry about
Yeah, I told
anything
John.
canon.
I told John to ignore the canon.
So I only read
you were-
old lore and AU shit.
You
and
had read it
fun
all
facts.
You were
already.
alleviated.
And you played Ruin King, so I feel
Did
like you've
play Ruin King.
experienced Ahri's lore. You needed to focus on the AUs because she has 18 million.
Yeah. Well,
People
that'll be an
love that
interesting
fox.
experience.
They really do.
God, they really fucking do, man. She's super popular. Yeah, I don't know. I was interesting kind of coming back to the bio.
Yeah.
I think partially because when I look at it, I'm pretty sure it's been updated since we looked at it, because I think
Okay.
it makes mention of, the way they kind of summarize things at the end in the last two paragraphs.
Yeah. Well, she got a complete, well, not a complete, but she got a ton of new voice lines post Ruined King.
Yes.
So my guess is maybe they updated the bio.
Oh, they must have. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm certain they did, because I look at my old notes, and I think the old bio, I wish I couldn't find a version of it. I'm sure I could if I'd dug harder, but I wasn't that motivated. Come on now. But the old bio, I think, ends with a lot more mention of, or kind of like suggestion that she might get involved with like the Vestian rebellion with like Zaya and them. I don't know that, but my notes kind of make mention of that.
Okay.
When I was looking back at them, and they completely pivoted away from it. It's obviously not what they did with her at all, and I find that very interesting. That I'm sure on some whiteboard somewhere that was like just written in Sharpie, right? Like Ahri arrow pointing to Zaya, and then someone was like, no, we're not going to do this. Here's what we're going to do instead, right? And so yeah, I thought that was a really interesting kind of shift, and I guess kind of in the way her bio sort of ends with her motivation now being that she wants to sort of, because in Ruin King, we'll get into this a little bit, she does discover her dark mysterious past, which is kind of beautiful in a way,
Right?
Finally.
I know.
and she discovers that they were super cool, good people, and wants to kind of I don't know, venerate them by going out and doing super cool things and trying to find more things about them and stuff like that. So her motivation has really shifted by the end of this journey. And this is really interesting to see. I think a big complaint we've always kind of hit on is that everyone feels they're in suspended animation, right? So the fact that Ahri has gotten this complete journey, I don't know if she's gotten a complete arc, right? I don't know about that. I don't know if it's entirely there for me, but just the actual plot has risen and fallen in a kind of nice, complete way, which I really kind of appreciate. I don't know. You know
She
what I mean?
wanted to learn more about her people. She learned more about her people, and then she's got some actions to take forward.
Yeah, and she formed bonds with other people as well, other champions, which was nice to see, whereas she was very alone in her previous stuff. She had one connection to her lover, who she murdered by accident, Your Honor. But allegedly. But yeah, she connects with Yasuo and opens up to him about things that she's gone through, and he does, and blah blah. They have feelings, yuck, stuff like that.
Right? It is ugh.
Feelings.
Can I just say?
Icky.
I gotta say, by the way, that I really sympathize with Tina Fey about the word lover. That I find it very off-putting when it's not between the word meat and pizza.
So much. I completely agree with you. And they constantly refer to him as her lover.
I don't even know if he ever gets a name.
He doesn't
I don't remember
have
if
a
he got one in
name.
Ruin King, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
I don't think so, because it's never in the wiki.
Right.
I really paid attention,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
was
you think they'd
surely,
mention it.
maybe his name is Lover. Maybe.
Whoa.
It seems like an Ionian thing, right?
Sure, right? Yeah,
First
I'm
name
down with
lover,
that.
last name boy.
Lover boy.
I like that. They should have reincorporated the Heartlight thing or something like that. That could have been good.
They
Maybe
could
they
have
did in
just
Ruin King and I forgot. But.
Given him a name. It didn't have to be anything. It could have been Brian.
It's Jeremy.
Sure.
Her boyfriend, Brian.
Big Brian. I agree because he's so integral to he's the big motivator for her.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be her rock bottom is how I kind of rate
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Right?
Dating him was her rock.
I mean, it does be like that sometimes. It wasn't so much.
We
here,
all
but-
have a rock bottom that we don't want to talk about.
But he comes and goes in 2 paragraphs, right? He doesn't even get a name, and it's I don't know.
I know. It was surprising when it was still made such a big deal when I was getting to the Ruin King stuff that she was still agonizing over it. And I was like, oh, this seemed like not a big deal at all in your bio, I gotta say. It makes more sense that she's agonizing over this, right? She cared for him so much, she was trying to deny all of her nature, I guess, in a way. And accidentally killed him just by being who she is, which is fucked up.
Yeah, it's very rogue.
Very upset.
moment.
I was literally, John, about to say rogue. It's we've all seen X-Men when poor Rogue tried to kiss a boy and he ended up in a coma. It's traumatizing.
For sure, right? And they I had forgotten about some of this, but how heavily they kind of play into it, almost into a broad sort of addiction sort of way. They kind of describe it, where she sees herself as a monster, but she can't. You always got to come back for one more. You can't stay away, dog. Just one more taste.
I did think it was really funny how Ahri was like, you still love me even though I am what I am? And I'm like, what, a big-tittied, sexy fox lady? But I'm a monster. No, you're the hottest woman alive. Have you met a man?
Her and Kaisa.
Yeah, Kaisa too,
Right.
right? Oh my god. They should meet and they'll be like, oh, we're just so hideous.
At the very least, Kaisa probably smells bad. We can agree on that
That's true.
one, right?
She probably reeks, dude.
You know that
but Ari's taking baths all the time.
She is. There's even a little
This bitch
picture
is-
on the wiki. She's just naked.
Right? There's some guy journaling while watching her bathe.
Ah, yeah. That's not cool.
That would have been great if she was like, no, I'm a monster.
No, don't look at me. I'm just a beast.
Yeah.
They'll risk it
Yeah.
all. Snoo,
I mean,
right?
you're not wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well. But yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of fun kind of coming back to some of this stuff and looking back at some of the bio stuff from it.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the things that's cool about the Ruined King, too, is that not only does it carry on some of her story that was already in motion, but it also answered some questions that we had about some of her lore that had not been answered before. I know that we had some questions around, like, what is the significance? They keep mentioning these sunstones that she carries with her all the time. And, like, the stories reference it and reference, like, oh, yeah, they're probably valuable. And the person tries to drug her and steal it. But, like, we don't know anything about what the fuck that... We've heard about moonstones. This is kind of the first mention of sunstones that I think we had seen, and then we never heard any other mention until Ruined King.
Yeah, you know, in coming back and thinking about this, I really like Ruined King. Like, as a game, sure, but like from just the writing perspective, it's probably the one, like, it should be held up more probably as like a really good example of everyone did their due diligence and remembered the things that the characters do and like what they're involved with, and they then took those and leveraged them to create like storytelling a little bit, almost, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And like the people involved in the story made sense, right? Like, it was, you got a wide variety of people. You got people from the Freljord there. You got, you know, obviously the Bilgewater folks there, but, you know, you got Arya and Yasuo too. Like, you had people from kind of all over the world, but none of it felt forced, like, you know, like the Sentinels thing, where you had various people that didn't feel natural being part of the story.
That, like, why are you a Sentinel? You would not do this.
Yeah, it was, this felt, it all felt organic, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when we talked about, I think when we did our little Patreon episode talking about it, I remember really liking the handling of Ilaoi in there, but coming back and just kind of reminding myself of some of the stuff that Ahri, you know, has happened, I also thought, it's like, this is handled pretty well too. I mean, I don't know how much we want to get into it right now, but like, you know, I think the fact that they had, because they explain her dark mysterious past, right? That she discovers that her Vestayan tribe were called the Vistani, and they were involved in the Blessed Isles because one of the things that they did so much and the Sunstones were so heavily involved with was memories, right? Which is something that we see in her stories, these old ass stories, right? Like, they remembered that, like, yeah, one of the things she does when she's charming people, we see in like the fair trade story, is that she's kind of looking into their memories and like affecting them and almost stealing them, kind of, in a way. And her other story is about her trying to forget her memories. So it's like, hey, there's a sort of a consistent thematic that's running through the whole through line that runs with the character the whole way, all the way to the end, right? We didn't, nothing really big fell out halfway through or got forgotten about, right? It's kind of wild. And I think even like, I had forgotten kind of about this for her, but that they kind of present her with this choice where it's like, you can either, because she has these memories from Viego, right, that are going to be key to stopping him, and it's like, you can either hold those memories in this Sunstone, but if you do that, it will be at the cost of losing all of these memories that were about the Vistani, right? And so it's like it's an actual thing that her character has to kind of struggle with, and comes to the conclusion that it's better to, you know, make these new memories and preserve the future rather than trying to just sort of hold on to the past. And it's like, oh, look at that. It's like it's like she has a conflict that's an internal one, sort of, and has to, you know.
And it pushes
I shouldn't be talking about
forward.
this way, but like,
no, it's
but it's like,
I think that's what we would talk about next, right? Is where her story went forward, which is the Ruined King. And Mark basically summarized it there. What her role was in the Ruined King was, you know, her whole thing was these two sunstones, all that she has left of her people, and then finally finding where they came from and what they were used for. I do love how it was the Blessed Isles they were involved in. Like, she finds out that they were so good. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't this evil, like,
they weren't monsters.
They were not
monsters.
As, you know? Yes, like, they were using these powers that she has for a good purpose. But yeah, and she also has memories of Isolde hating Viego so very much. And she's like, this'll fuck him up so we could beat him. Because I think they all know that they can't really beat Viego. He's an overpowered champion that needs to be removed from the game.
but he just got the world skin.
Right?
Man, I was so I was so unamused when I saw that. I was like, God, can we just be done with Viego for a little bit? Can we just put him on the bench for 6 months?
People play him, and then the crown in the crown song.
Yeah, the heavy, yeah.
Heavy the crown or whatever. The crown's heavy.
Heavy the crown.
Heavy the crown.
Crown heavies.
The crown is very heavy, I think is the Linkin Park song that came out. The crown is very heavy. Imagine her yelling that instead.
Crown heavy.
Crown heavy. Crown heavy. That's my
a good impression.
Thank you. I'm not like a yeller. Anyway, did I miss anything on the?
I don't think so. But I think something I would also add. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I think she was able to use her kind of personal internal breakthrough to also help Yasuo through his personal internal breakthrough as he had his kind of showdown with the Shadow Yone on the Wind Isle
on Yasuo Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to add that, you know, it also, in comparison to Rise of the Sentinels, it feels like everyone also kind of has a purpose and is, you know, she is integral in them successfully, succeeding, right? Defeating Viego, you know, where when you're gathering up this group of misfits or just people who are very different, everyone should kind of have this niche and this purpose that they serve, which is like done effectively in Ruin King, and she's an example of that, you know, where she is integral to being a part of what helps stop Viego, as compared to, like, again, Rise of the Sentinels, where it's like in Ruin King you couldn't drop out so many of the characters and still have it work and make sense in the ways that Rise does.
Yeah,
and,
it's true.
This is nice.
Even from a gameplay perspective, like each individual character in that game had their own like personal skills that were required to navigate through the game, and you had to be swapping back and forth between them at various points to like make use of, you know, a character's, you know, unique shit.
It's sad.
Sure.
I definitely think this should have been how Viego's defeated, and then perhaps Lucian and Senna in particular would be involved more in stopping Thresh, because that makes more sense to me anyway.
That would have been great.
That's
honestly.
who their villain is in the end, and that's who it's going to be in the future now that Thresh is like kind of taking over.
And like the ending of this game was basically just another version of the ending of Sentinels. They haven't defeated him. They just ended up sealing him again.
Yeah, like maybe throw Gwen in there if you want to get like a part of Isolde as well. But otherwise, like no one that's in Rise of the Sentinels has any fucking purpose in defeating Viego at all. No connection. And the fact that it's these people who haven't been fighting Viego forever who end up having the keys to seal him away is really interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of makes me want to replay Ruin King. There have been a few moments when we've gone back through lore or just hitting champions that made me kind of like, damn, I kind of want to replay Ruin King. And this was another one where it's like, I kind of want to replay Ruin King. It should get talked up more. It's kind of a shame.
Right?
Is the game itself better than, say, Mage Seeker? Or is it also the story that's better? Is it all of the above? Both?
Yeah,
okay.
I think both.
Yeah.
Best story and best game, I think.
Yeah. It's hard because we have a few to compare it with now, and they seem really all over the place as far as how well they're doing the lore and how well the game is. Song of Nunu is the only one I've played, which I did find it cute, but not that interesting, although it did make me love Nunu a lot, lore-wise.
Yeah. I think it does suffer from some of the same problems that a lot of the others do, where, like, they take a genre and they make a few baffling decisions about that are like that the genre has moved past, but they kind of decided to stick with some kind of outdated shit. It's happened, I think, in every single one of the games, which is surprising given that all of them were made by different studios, but they've all kind of done it. And Ruined King is not, they're not excluded from that, but theirs are less of a big deal because they did innovate in a lot of really cool spaces in the kind of turn-based combat area that I love a lot of the decisions they made there.
I think I said as much when we again plug in the Patreon episode, because we really get into the nitty gritty on it. But like, it's not a genre that I spend a lot of time with or played much of, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. So,
well, that's good. So anybody out there on the fence, this seems like the game to play outside of if you're looking for another Runeterra game.
Yeah.
This is the one to hit.
They also they explore Bilgewater and they explore the Shadow Isles, which are like
very cool areas.
Two of the coolest places to kind of just fuck around in. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That does sound fun. So do we know, because I didn't see anything on the wiki, I didn't know if this missed it in the game, do we know how Ahri has escaped this? Like, how is she the only one left of her people? Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
Like she's in Ionia somehow. How is that possible if all of her people were in the Blessed Isles when this happened?
You know, I do not know. I'll be honest with you. That's something I missed or did not like refine.
I don't think it's brought up, but I don't know.
My gut is that she got Superman like shot out.
There was an explosion and the little egg like flew out.
Yeah, a little sunstone with a little fox in it shot out into space or whatever. That's
I'm curious
gut feeling, but I have nothing to back that to actually like support that. It just feels like that's kind of the way it would work. Is that they knew some crazy shit was happening, and in the last moments they sort of like
put her on a boat or something, and like they kind of did like a Moses or whatever.
Baby Moses her, yeah.
Oh, I picked the right guy. I don't know the Bible very well, but I was pretty sure it was Moses that went in the basket.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good question. I kind of wish I for some reason I just completely didn't think about it. I think I was like satisfied that she had found her past, but you're right. That doesn't.
Ionia is very far away from this area. Yeah, it's not that close.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything from the Shadow Isles is like,
unless it's like Bilgewater is the closest, really. But yeah, I don't know.
They're pretty far, but there's a lot of Ascians in Ionia. I mean, that's sort of where they come from originally, right? So it's like it kind of maybe that would make sense that they were like, oh, that's Plan B, that's home base in case.
Or someone found the basket and they're like, this is a Vestian baby, just throw it in Ionia in the woods or something. Because she's raised by like foxes, right? Like,
so this is an orphan. I know where this goes.
I know where the orphans go. Just throw her in Ionia, someone will find her.
Sure.
Made it to the Runeterran post office.
An orphan?
Postage necessary, I know.
Oh my god, they're shipping orphans to Ionia now.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had more of an answer for you, to be honest with you.
I was just curious if we had any theories on that one. And do we know what Ahri is looking to do next? Really? Yeah, she wants to kind of find more, because she erased all of the memories of her people. She taped over their home video that they had for Viego's bullshit. She wants to rediscover. I think it's
some of that, and I think it's almost sort of like honor them, I guess, insofar as because you know they did good, right? Mm-hmm. Or they did a lot of good. They did well, rather. I don't know. They did good.
No, they did good.
You had it right first.
Yes,
time.
Yeah. Sorry.
Steins do good. Yeah.
I'm that Superman, right?
Yeah.
So I think she kind of wanted to honor that memory by herself doing good, and you know, trying to be sort of a beacon of, I don't know, hope and good times and new happy memories for the world. You know, because they brought so much good into the world.
Okay.
That's kind of where the bio ends now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's looking to start building connections with people, because like this crew that she had and throughout the Ruined King was kind of the first.
Her first friends, really.
Yeah, her first friends. Yeah,
that
like
are foxes.
Pulling away from people, keeping distance intentionally, and now she doesn't have to be afraid anymore.
So how did she accidentally suck out her lover boy's life, but not? I'm sorry, Brian. But not like Yasuo. Was he not hot enough for her, or?
Maybe he didn't.
I never really understood how her powers work, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we get the little hint of them. So if we go back to the stories, we do see a little bit of her doing the charming sort of situation when she gets kind of poisoned. Mm-hmm. What's hard about that, though, and this was a complaint I had in revisiting it, is that little instance where she suck someone's memories and I guess some of their life essence out. She doesn't like struggle with, you would kind of expect that she would sort of be tempted to take too much and have to kind of pull herself back. But she doesn't. She's very in control of the whole situation. So I don't know. I just assume it's like, in my mind, it was sort of like, this was kind of what frustrated me about it, is that like she gets life essence from it, right? And so she's been very stoic in terms of not indulging. And then you would think all of a sudden she's in this like all you can eat buffet, and to make matters even worse, a cheesecake like slice jumps into her mouth, and it's like, oh, if I don't want to choke, I got to eat some of this cheesecake, but just not all of it.
What an amazing metaphor for Ahri's powers. Is a cheesecake falls in her mouth and she has to decide what to do with it.
Right?
Spit it out, Ahri. Spit it out. Drop it.
Right.
Drop
What's
it.
in your mouth?
That's a human being.
I'm just saying, like, if you had been eating saltines and water for like months on end, and all of a sudden you were dropped in Golden Corral, you might eat some like coconut shrimp or whatever. You know what I mean? You'd be tempted at least.
I don't know. Not a Golden Corral. You
Not
could have
Golden
come up with
Corral.
someone better.
That's the only buffet brand like I know off the top of my head. I don't engage with them that much these days.
I don't engage with buffets. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I can't do buffets. Post-COVID? No.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess I always read it as like, because something that Bio mentions at least now is that he would kind of let her give him the big suck, and it was just sort of like an agreed upon thing. He was almost like if you want to look into the vampire from like sort of metaphor, almost he's kind of like her emotional vampire familiar, right? He's her Renfield a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
I guess where she just partakes a little bit, but I don't know, she got too into it one night or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was always very confused by that whole situation.
They're
Does she
engaging
have
in some
to
real rough play.
do this emotional suck on people?
I forgot to say for it. I read it as not necessarily, but it's like,
I don't know. It's
probably, it feels really good. It's like super
it's like sick. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe you can't do other feel-good stuff without a little bit of
with
that.
a little bit of the human essence. Well, now she's got her 30-day chip. She's ready to quit. She's looking ahead.
30-day sunstone.
30 days sunstone. Good job.
Oh man.
Yeah, I do kind of honestly like the idea of her joining the Vestian rebellion in Ionia a little bit, but it's disappointing that they pulled her away from that. But that's okay.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of not necessarily counter to her mission, because I know there's a lot of good in necessarily what they're trying to do, but I don't think it's the type of good that she's looking to do. There's a lot of bad that comes with that good, you know?
Yeah, war, you know.
Yeah. What's it good for?
I mean, preserving your land and people over the Vestians.
Good God, yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Good God, Willow, y'all. Come on.
Let's... You guys are the worst. Let's move on.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The only other thing I wanted to mention from the story, the fair trade one, is that they did make mention, one of the leads she has is that she knows the names of the stones, right? The Ymello stones. But also that there is some guy with eyebrows. Is it eyebrows or eyelashes like butterflies? And sort of her lead is like, okay, in that memory, I saw this guy gamble with one of these stones, and that's what I'm going to find. And that dude he's like one of the few little plot points that just got fucking dropped. Yeah. Just gone. I don't know who that guy is. What's up with his eyelids or whatever.
His eyelids, eyebrows, and eyelashes are all like butterflies.
All butterflies.
It's a lot going on up there.
It's a strange, confusing mess.
His wind every time he blinks.
The thing is, like, when they said that too...
Could you imagine if that's how Yasuo's spread? He just blinks really hard. Nasagi! Fuck.
What were you saying, Jim?
I was gonna say, when they said that, I was just imagining like I forget whether it's like Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Light that has those crazy fucking eyebrows, or maybe both of them do. But when they said like butterfly eyebrows, all I could think of was that, because they like have those fucking eyebrows.
I wasn't thinking like that.
never
I was
thought of
thinking
Dr.
like beautiful like winged.
I was thinking just really like long, like I don't know.
That what you guys said makes
I was
more
thinking
sense.
eyebrows that are forked.
That makes sense. Yeah. Not like monarch butterfly
Like
wings,
wings.
which would have been cool as shit. But
Yeah.
this isn't the Capitol on Hunger Games or anything.
Yes,
Probably who would have butterfly eyebrows.
Sure.
the butterfly brows.
Ooh. But anyway, that's where Ahri went to. What she's been up to. I like it a lot. That they actually pushed her forward. I don't know what they'll do with her in the future, if anything, but that's okay.
They'll put her in a fight
She's got
again.
a lot.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you did good by Ahri.
And now she's gonna do good by Runeterra. I guess somehow.
You can
I don't
rest.
know. She's gonna open a bakery or something.
Sure. Right. Maybe she can open an orphanage or something. I don't know.
Oh, that would be very
Lord
helpful,
knows they
Ahri.
need 'em.
You can have one in every region in Runeterra. Ionia is going to need like 6 or 7
Yeah,
at least.
6 or 7. Yeah, that should do it.
per region.
I mean, the villages are very small, but
I guess. Yeah. In terms of other stuff, she did have a Legends of Runeterra release. I don't really have much to say about it, to be honest with you. It doesn't. Sometimes they tell a really cohesive story time, and sometimes it's a little whatever. And this one for me was a little whatever. I don't know. It's just more about her traipsing around in the around like where the God Willow was, because I think they play a little bit with that, and I don't know. There's not a lot going on with it. There's not like a big developments for her as a character, I found, or anything like that. It's all these random forest spirits asking her questions, and she just kind of gives these pithy responses, like, "What are you fighting, Ahri?" And she's like, "You want me to say my nature or whatever?" And it's like, okay, whatever.
oh, this sounds like old Ahri a lot.
It's a little old Ahri, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
When
think it's
she's
supposed
just
to take
like
place sort of
seducing
before
men and giving them the
Ruin
big
King.
suck in the woods.
Yeah.
That was her old
Yeah.
lore, yes?
Pretty much, yeah.
Funny
I mean,
you
it's
should
similar, but
mention
it was a
that.
lot more.
Ah, okay.
Because one of the things that we didn't do in the original episode was touch on the old lore.
And
We touched on it a little bit. I will say.
Oh, okay.
But we should touch on it more because it's fucking hilarious, I find.
Was she like a bit like an Evelyn type?
She was just a
Somewhat.
fox who wanted to be human.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
And then she happened across this big battle, and there was a robed man encircled by a waning field of magic whose life was quickly slipping away. So she walked up, and then something inside her triggered. And, invisible strands of magic made his life essence pour into her.
Okay, so she was a fox.
Yeah.
She went up
Yeah,
to
she
an
was a
old
fox.
man,
A dying old man.
dying
in a
old
circle of
man.
magic.
man, and turned into a hot, big-tittied lady.
Well, hold on. She didn't turn quite into hot, big-tittied
Okay.
lady
Did
yet.
she turn into an old man?
She didn't turn into an
We
old
had this
man
exact
either.
discussion in the old episode, by the way.
Oh, we haven't changed at all.
Continue.
She did. She noticed that her fur had receded and her body became long and lithe, the shape of the
Okay.
humans. But she knew that this transformation was incomplete. She was not yet big titty,
Big-tittied hot lady.
hot lady.
Mark, did I also mention Emotep from The Mummy in the original episode? Because that's all I'm thinking about now.
Fuck.
But yeah, so she decided to integrate into human society using her beauty to attract men so she could give them the big suck.
I mean, so she did turn into a hot lady right away.
Yeah. I
Kind
read
of.
that incomplete bit as like, that's why she still has tails. Right?
And then like
And maybe
the
it's
furry
some-
ears.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah, maybe she wasn't as hot. She becomes progressively hotter
Aggressively
until
more.
she's
She goes like up half a cup size every time she.
it's the only change.
Sometimes when
Wow,
Riot
let's go
redoes
back to
art,
the
that's
old
what it
lore.
seems
I'm
like.
liking this.
That Teemo rework,
That should be his new mechanic.
massive double
fat
D's. He's got such a little body; he'll just fall forward.
Size doesn't mean everything, right?
To roll around.
Tit, 2,
Bounces.
3, 4. So, as she ate more humans, she eventually started getting some of their empathy too, which was a real buzzkill for all the big stuff she was doing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she still wanted to eat them, and she realized she could not overcome these pangs, these hunger pangs with this new morality she had. So she decided to seek out the Institute of War, home of the most gifted mages on Runeterra. They offered her a chance to attain her humanity without further harm through service in the League of Legends.
Woo!
Cool.
Beautiful.
And there's also a short story.
An old short story.
Called Stray Fox, which is exclusively available if you purchased the Ahri figurine.
Oh.
That, like,
How do
super
you find
fancy
these
one.
fucking things, man?
A small town in Ionia, nestled at the foothills of Tavasa Mountain, was right in the path of an impending Noxian conquest. A lot of the people fled, but a lot of the people were like, this is our home, we're going to stay and fight, knowing full well Noxus was going to just fucking roll right over them. So Ahri had been kind of creeping on this town, just watching them, doing her learning how to be human thing that she was still doing at the time. And one day she sensed something was wrong, so she set out to figure out what it was and encountered a Noxian scouting party on its way to the town. She thought she was being super sneaky, but apparently she was not, because the Noxians, gave a signal, and then all of them immediately turned on her and fired their bows. And she just fucking destroys the whole lot of them. And then she's like, well, all these dead bodies here, it'd be a shame to let all this good food go to waste. So she starts feeding on them, but then some villagers come, and she's like, oh, I don't want them seeing me like this. I'm working so hard to be friends with these people, and they're just going to see me as a monster. So she leaves the rest of the feast behind.
Is she, physically eating them?
I know. I think she's
It always
essence
just seems like
eating.
an essence, which is so funny to me. She's like, I don't want them to see me like this. And it just would look like her going, or something, as, smoke comes out.
Yeah.
Her, death sound or whatever.
But maybe it does look like Rogue, where, their skin gets all fucked up and,
well, that's fine. I more like the idea that she's just, like a fox, just jumps on it.
Or maybe it's like Beetlejuice, the soul eater there.
Oh.
Where they shrink up and now they're just
and
fucking...
they mush, yeah. But she looked real hot while she was doing it.
See? You wouldn't stop her.
No, I wouldn't. And soul suck me, mommy.
God, she would be such a good Ahri, too.
Anywho.
Yeah, that's old stuff. And she's in some few cinematics we talked about. Kin of the Stained Blade is the one where we initially talked about, where she's riding with Yasuo to Bilgewater. Wonder if she'll need a bodyguard. Then we've got the Kingdom cinematic, which is the Ruined King trailer. Yasuo's her bodyguard.
Oh my goodness. Thank goodness. Okay.
We've got the A New Dawn cinematic, where Leona's her bodyguard.
Oh, okay. She's a lot of bodyguards.
Yeah. And then we've got Magic Misadventures, where Ahri and Kennen are Ava's secret and then not so secret bodyguards, as she travels through Ionia looking for special grass for her Bandle City float. And then
Special grass?
You know it. Hey, Bandle City knows how to party.
They do.
You know that.
I know. I had to throw them parties. With yarn
Did you
or
supply?
whatever.
Right?
Supply,
yarn,
hell
is that what they're
yeah.
calling it? She shows up in a new journey, inspired by the true story of Michelle, a university student and League of Legends player who joined a team and joined the fight.
Woo!
And then she's in Ignite. Ahri's one of the people fighting Baron before Odd One steals it. She's in the You Really Got Me cinematic, where Ahri's fighting with Zed, Braum, Malphite, and Camille against Jinx, Yasuo, Lux, Teemo, and Blitz. Her big moment here is getting saved by Braum after Jinx almost kills her. And then finally, Worlds Collide. She's one of them dear red figures that pops up out of the ground.
All right, we're going to start on these AUs. Buckle up, Buttercup. Ow, it hurt me.
Now, okay. We're going to start. Are you okay?
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to concern you.
Wonders of the World Individuals hailing from a far-flung universe of Earth, where giant statues come to life and everyone's wearing a fun hat. It's a lot like Runeterra if you think about it. Especially now that you can do hats in ARAM. We have Dynasty Ahri, which is from Korea. Though Ahri's royal blood is obvious in her fashion and poise, she much prefers running across rooftops and causing general mischief to being locked up in a castle. Life's more fun with laughter, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to Google Ahri skins, and the first thing that popped up right away was Ahri skin 500. Because of her $500 skin.
Oh, yes. Then we've got Legacy, treasures from days long past glimmering just within reach. This is Midnight Ahri. Deep in the snowy forests bordering the kingdom, villagers tell tales of a mysterious ice fox who, under the light of the midnight moon, becomes human. What they don't know is that this fox, Ahri, was once a princess, cursed to live a life as wild as her heart. She runs through the forest during the day, hoping to find someone to break her eternal curse.
Oh, no.
What do you gotta do to break it?
Unclear. You have to survive her big suck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Then we have Infernal. Scorching an entire world takes unimaginable strength, which is why the Ashen Lord called upon his legions of Infernals to lend their flames. From the darkest depths, they each bring their own terrible powers to bear, though not all answer their call with the same burning enthusiasm. Foxfire Ahri. A young, talented pyromancer from the Shadowfire Temple, Ahri gave up her quiet life when a faction of extremists unleashed the burning horrors of the Ashen Lord. Now she uses her fire magic to fight against them, even though all hope seems lost. And this was part of I think 4-part skin... not technically skin release, because they weren't all released at the same time, but... I think Foxfire Ahri, Explorer Ezreal, Chrome Rammus, and Safari Caitlyn, which were the great browser skin releases.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Jeez.
And we've got Academy. Attention students and faculty. It has come to our attention that all students are currently facing disciplinary action and all professors are on suggested psychiatric leave. Class will be canceled until further notice, perhaps a time when the aforementioned suspended students have re-examined their abysmal behavior. It is Academy Ahri. Notice from the Dean. Ahri is henceforth suspended from Academy grounds for behavior including, but not limited to, use of her phone during class, use of her phone during disciplinary hearings about her phone, and escaping disciplinary hearings about her phone. And this has a cinematic called LOL School, which is a Russian animated cinematic. No idea what's being said because it's in Russian with no subtitles. But Ahri gets mad at Vlad at one point, so, you know. Mad 'cause Vlad?
What's next?
I'm pretty sure that's what they say.
Oh, honey.
Arcade Heroes.
You gotta say that next time someone's playing Vlad and they're mad.
Right. Arcadia, home to the server's most competitive arcade gamers and justice-driven NPCs. Here, the heroes always play to win, and that means overriding the battle boss's corrupted code, even with the odds stacked against them. Victory won't come easy, but seeing the surprise on the boss's face after an incredible outplay will totally make it worth it. It is Arcade Ahri, owner of the mysterious 6 million point high score in the infamously difficult beat-em-up Demacia Vice. Yes, that Demacia Vice with Garen.
Oh, yeah.
Ahri is a force of nature on the retro battlefields of Arcadia, dashing between bosses before ripping them apart with her 8-bit magic. She's already earned the nickname Queen of the Arcade. Mm-hmm. And this one has a level up bit, too, because it had a Legends of Runeterra release. When dodging an evil sorcerer's missiles with half your health bar and no revives, don't forget, you can always fight back. The secret to fighting back? Make every missile count. Anivia, don't forget to do a barrel roll. Never give up. Ready your missiles.
Is that Anivia saying that? Like, was she popping in like Peppy? Okay.
Yeah. Fun fact, Ahri is just a real-world gamer in this AU, forcibly transported into the arcade world by final boss Vagar.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And then we have Eclipse, Coven, which is an important distinction here because she's got a second Eclipse skin too.
She does. I'm trying to look through now. Okay, yeah.
The witches lay in wait, a sisterhood of frightening pulchritude, their hopes whispered forth from desacralized lips. They speak of the bloating corpses of old gods, of ancient rites carried out with magics long forgotten to mortal mind, of the return of what they call order, but others call suffering. Hark! Mankind's end fast approaches.
Oh my.
It says, Coven Ahri. They came to Ahri at the first stirrings of dusk, the laughter of the half-light jackal, ever stalking the world as it turned towards its own inevitable entropy. A vicious predator and powerful witch, Ahri sucks the life from all she lures close, siphoning it towards her lord within the gloom. Now this also has a level up card text from Ruterra. The knights knew what to look for, a trail of death and decay leading them deeper into the wood. The evidence of such necrotic magic was sure to lead them to the charming fox witch, servant of the half-life jackal. Little knights, are you lost? My god prefers a chase, but its teeth will tear your flesh all the same. Come, step into the half-light. And fun fact on this one, in case you didn't notice, Ahri worships the half-light jackal. Also, the Elderwood is in a magical arms race against the Coven, constantly stealing the witch's looks and spells. So Coven, Ahri, and LeBlanc got their identities mimicked by their namesakes in the Elderwood AU.
Okay, so who's the original? The Coven?
Yeah, I was going to ask. So
one?
is it Coven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Coven's original.
Slick.
And then we've got Eclipse Elderwood. In the beginning, the old gods reigned. So great was humankind's love for them that one dared make them a part of her flesh forever. She devoured the sun itself, and descending from that empty heaven, inspired her knights to decimate all those that remained. Centuries later, they stand, the only hope against the rising Coven's darkness. It's Elderwood Ahri. Fables of the trickster spirit Ahri have been part of mankind's history for countless generations. Radiant and eternally youthful, she's portrayed as a curious, quizzical member of the Elderwood's Feyfolk, though in recent years her heart has hardened as she fights a growing corruption within her ancestral home.
Oh.
Is that the Coven then that is in reference to?
Yes, I do believe.
Okay. I assume so. I'm just making sure.
And we've got Arcana. High above Arcana, the archetypes, living patterns that shape reality itself, struggle to trace their vision upon the chaos below them. The archetypes recruit perceptive citizens of the world below to amplify their hidden patterns, and the more who magnify an archetype's pattern, the more the world reflects their grand design. This is Arcana Ahri. A trickster and magician whose power is drawn from the grinning moon, Ahri plies her trade, rearranging patterns and allowing the lower world insight into the higher. Having already set the fated pair, Zaya and Rakan, careening towards each other, she awaits the resulting chaos with a cynical bemusement. Then we have Moons of Ionia, Snow Moon. It was interesting because I was actually, as I was reading the legacy one for the... I already forgot the name of it, but I was reading it and I was like, man, this seems, Midnight. It's this seems like it would have fit much better into Snow Moon, but she has a different Snow Moon skin, so. As the Snow Moon rises beyond the humbling mountains of Ionia, a chill passes across the land. Those who worship in its name, a cult of unwavering assassins, commence their ritual. With snow comes purification, a cleansing only possible through the sacrifice of one's humanity. This is Snow Moon Ahri. An ancient and powerful Arctic fox spirit, Ahri has been around since the founding of the Snow Moon Order. It is a symbiotic arrangement. Agents purify themselves by sacrificing their emotions and memories to her appetite. Ahri is the keeper of their lost memories, experiencing the outside world through her devotees, their eyes now vacant and cold.
That's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Now we've got Risen Legends. Long ago, gods of myth sealed their strength within the 4 shards of the Risen: chaos, harmony, patience, and vigor. Each presented a life-threatening trial to warriors who sought its power, promising to immortalize them in history. To this day, fighters across the land rise to the challenge in hopes of leaving a legacy that even a god will respect. Risen Legends Ahri. You've done well, Ahri, to complete my trials with such grace and humility. To become a risen legend is no easy feat, and even in the face of failure, you have proven your resilience. Go forth and leave a legacy worthy of the unkillable Demon King. When you're ready to learn your true potential, heed my call.
Oh.
Wait, so is that Faker talking to her then?
Right.
Yeah, and there's a prestige one.
He's so dramatic.
He's so
very
dramatic.
in this.
Don't you remember the cinematic?
That's
Such
true.
drama.
I do remember. Yeah,
I mean, he's
that's
dressed
true.
up as Azir.
Yeah, and
He's
he
very
stops the
dramatic.
music when he comes out.
That's true.
Mm.
Record scratch.
And this is the prestige. Ahri, you now rightfully bear the seal of the unkillable Demon King's chosen. You are an immortalized legend, an honor that few have ever achieved. Rest assured that your ancestors are proud of your success, as am I. With this and every battle to come, history will never forget you or the power you've tirelessly fought to earn. Welcome to godhood. Now, some fun facts about this one. There's a bunch of them because this is, as we mentioned, kind of the Faker skin line for now, until more are added. So, Unkillable Demon King, as we know, is Faker's notorious nickname. It was given to him by Cool in one of the first showings of his professional career during a Season 3 World Championship interview.
Oh.
Ahri's dance expression references Faker's improvised dance for a round of charades with his teammates in the T1 Travelers vlog series. Ahri's laugh expression reimagines the many cases where Faker laughs that immediately switches to a more serious tone, very anime-like. The gifts Ahri holds during her joke expressions are real, absurd items that Faker has received. So, for instance, he's got broccoli in one of them. So he was challenged by fans to eat broccoli if his team SKT1 won the 2015 World Championships because his hairstyle at the time resembled broccoli. The team went on to claim the victory, and Faker abided by his promise. And then he's got a cactus. So the cactus was given by Caps during a gift exchange in a meetup vlog of the two for entertainment content.
And then he ate it.
And then he ate it.
To the one.
The multiple instances where Ahri is called to Rise references the music video for the 2018 World Championship anthem Rise, where Ambition needs to overcome Faker, standing before him as the ultimate adversary before claiming the trophy. All Roads Lead to Me directly quotes Faker's response to Ruler in the 2023 World Championship teaser for their match day. So the rumors are true. Legends Never Die is the title of the 2017 World Championship theme, Legends Never Die. And finally, Ahri's finger to her mouth emote is Faker's signature move.
I don't think I knew that.
I did it.
I was,
for you.
I
was
missed
familiar.
it.
I feel like his
Sorry, I was
signature move
looking
is
to
winning
see-
worlds.
Yeah,
He
honestly.
does. He has done that a
He's
lot.
done that a lot.
I've seen him
He
do
does
that
that shit a lot.
technically more than.
Anywho, we're starting to get to the long ones. She's got a few.
Yep. Spirit Blossom.
Spirit Blossom.
The Spirit Blossom Festival is an ancient and celebrated time in Ionia. When the door to the spirit world is opened, the dead return to their loved ones, and spirits of all manner turn their eyes towards the living. From the benevolent Kanmai to the obsessive Akana, their stories play out again and again, like shadows on a paper lantern. We've got Spirit Blossom Ahri, the famed spirit of salvation, and the fox all mortals are beckoned towards when their souls arrive to the spirit realm. A capricious, whimsical spirit who sees the fate of the living as a game of chase, she offers the chance for souls to find their final rest, but will not intervene if they stray from the path. And there is a level up for this too, because this also has think this is like the most AU skin lines that have made it to Legends of Runeterra for a single champion. When mortal souls cross over into the spirit realm, they're drawn inexorably to the Spirit of Salvation, a spirit as elusive as she is enchanting. Should any mortal prove clever enough to follow the spirit's winding path towards their eternal rest, they may even catch a glimpse of her true visage, strikingly vulpine and unimaginatively ethereal. I can make your still heart beat again.
Oh, okay.
And
she like no CPR or?
In a sense.
Clear.
That's what the C in CPR stands for. She's part of a visual novel called Spirit Bonds. Probably still their best visual novel to date.
The in-client one, yeah?
Yeah.
This one was fun.
So this starts out with the player kind of showing up in the afterlife. And Ahri greets the player right as they hit it, gives them some cryptic tips, and then just fucking splits. Next time you meet her, we find out the longer people stay in the afterlife, the more they forget about themselves. And then we follow her out of the forest we were lost in, and we get out, she reveals herself as just not a fox, but a fox lady.
A foxy lady.
Foxy lady. She guides people in the afterlife, but she has noticed that recently people aren't actually arriving at the right place, and she suspects foul play, she asks you to investigate. Sure enough.
Isn't that your job, Ahri?
I know, right? Well, she's not powerful because the souls aren't making it to her, and that's where she kind of gets her power from.
She sucks out the dead souls. Okay.
So sure, she's weak. Sure enough, turns out Thresh, who normally travels near Ahri, basically constantly like trying to tempt people off of the path, which is his job and she's totally cool with, has now taken to just nabbing the souls before Ahri ever meets them.
That's rude.
And the spirits who are just kind of lost eventually give in to worldly obsessions and become demons. Yeah, so a lot of shit going on here. She asks you to help at least free the demons of their worldly obsessions, which will turn them back into just kind of wandering spirits again, which will rescue them from Thresh. And if you rescue enough spirits from Thresh, Ahri will be strong enough to fight back against him.
But what if I fall in love with Thresh?
Ooh, that's tough.
It's okay,
it'll happen.
You both.
He's got a big old six-pack in this one.
It wasn't the six-pack, okay?
It was a
This is
six-pack.
personality.
I think if it's big, it's just like I don't know. Some of a six-pack being big, which is funny to me.
Each one's 3 inches across. That doesn't seem very big, actually. I couldn't picture an ab like I've never had.
I think I could know what an ab might look like.
How much can an ab cost? $100?
I've never really seen one. Like in real life, you know?
I've heard myth.
So I don't know.
Let's see, where was I
Sorry.
here? Oh yeah, so you rescue a bunch of spirits. She gets strong, so the two of you go to face Thresh in his stronghold. He looks to be corrupting you. You know, he's kind of mid-corruption, but then something about you powers up Ahri, and she's able to talk him into freeing all the souls. She thanks you, then tells you you're not actually dead. So she can actually help you get back to the living until it's your time, and then you can rejoin her and fuck. She didn't say that specifically, but you just read between the lines. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She seems down.
Honey, a woman being nice to you doesn't...
Hey, she's DTF, hon. She's down to Fox.
I hate this episode so much. We've said tit too many times.
And there's also a cinematic here, The Path, an Ionian myth, where Ahri tries to lead Yone down to the good afterlife, but the big old dum-dum follows the creepy dark path instead and gets got by a demon. You know the rest. This is basically canon Yone, except he has white hair.
And he's a big old dum-dum.
Yeah. And in this one, I think he and Yasuo kill each other instead of just him dying, so...
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got Riot Records. Pop star. When you're at the top of the charts, no one can bring you down. It's pop star Ahri. Discovered by her record label when she was still a teen, Ahri took the music world by storm when her first 5 singles hit the top 100, winning Most Talented New K-Pop Artist at the 2013 Pop Shine Awards. She's been stealing hearts and sweeping awards ever since. However, underneath that perfect exterior, Ari's feeling trapped by increasing demands.
Oh.
Now, fun fact on this one, this skin has like a ton of unique quotes, most of which are just K-pop references. I'm not going to read all of these.
There's a lot, yeah.
But I'll just, so she's got quotes that reference Girls' Generation, Twice, BTS, Big Bang, Mamamoo, ITZY, Red Velvet.
I've heard of 2 of these.
You could just be making shit up, man. You could just it's like, how many things can I say until someone says, okay, wait a minute, are you just lying?
I think that Big Bang song is one that you have on your playlist.
Oh, you know, I do know Big Bang.
Bang,
yeah,
Bang,
that's
Bang?
true. Mm-hmm.
Which she has a quote that says "Bang Bang Bang," which references that song.
Yeah, sometimes I'll like find a song that I really like, and I don't really pay attention to who sings it. It just gets added to playlists from then on until I die. Oh my. Okay.
All right, and then we've got Riot Records, KDA.
She's moving on. She joined a girl group. She did the
She
opposite.
formed a girl group.
Yeah. Most
Yeah.
people have start with the group and then go solo, but
Yeah,
not Ahri. She's
did
not
it.
like
She
other
went her own
pop
way.
stars. Yeah.
There's a place between fantasy and reality where anything can happen. You have the power to be anyone and do anything. It's your dream. In our in-between world, KDA feels confident and strong. We can do anything, and so can you. It's a
Thanks.
quote from KDA Kaisa.
Sometimes I need to hear that, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Thank you, Kaisa. God bless you, Kaisa.
You don't smell bad, Kaisa.
No, you're
sorry.
not stinky in this world. Anyway, you could take your clothes off.
You're a big dancer. You might be stinky, at least part-time.
But I mean, she can wash
Yeah.
afterwards. I
Yeah,
don't think she
probably
can
does.
in canon.
It's true.
It's all stuck on it.
We should have an episode discussing the washing logistics of
Discussing
Kaisa's
what's
various
underneath
skins.
Kaisa's shell.
Yeah.
All right, we got KDA Ahri. Setting her old bubblegum pop persona aside, Ahri was determined to shake up her image and reinvent herself as an unstoppable force within the music industry. 5 years later, she's returned with a sleek new look and a killer sound. And this time, she's not alone.
Ooh.
And there's a prestige. Decked out to dazzle, KDA Ahri charms her audience in a glittering golden ensemble, specially made for her band's 2019 Pop Shine Awards performance. Her Prestige Edition outfit celebrates the golden success of pop stars. Can you feel the rush now, Mr. Krabs?
You referenced that specific quote a lot for someone who didn't grow up watching SpongeBob.
Yeah, well,
And you've probably not seen that episode.
Wow, look at this fucking gatekeeper here.
Wow,
name 5 name 5 fucking SpongeBob episodes right now.
Chocolate with nuts.
Rock bottom.
No, I was saying that's what you were saying to me, basically.
Oh, no. I was just surprised. Is all. I didn't think that was going to touch such a nerve. Go on. Sorry, hon. You can
You
call
called
SpongeBob
out
all
on
you want.
SpongeBob cred. That's like you fucking threw down the gauntlet. Like, what are you gonna do, right?
We got KDA all out Ahri. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
When Ahri steps onto the stage to perform with KDA, she knows she's surrounded by the best of the best. Different women with different personalities, all at the top of their craft. As their leader and as their friend, Ahri is poised to guide these divas to even greater heights and leave their audiences breathless for more.
Ooh.
Which I'm pretty sure is what they named that album. I could be mistaken, but I think the album was named something that didn't actually have a song named after it. I'm pretty sure the whole album of things was named More.
Oh.
Oh no, it did. They did have their own. More wasn't. More was also a song in it. Whew. All right. Now this AU has a bunch of cinematics. Obviously, they're all music videos. She's in Pop Stars, More, I'll Show You, and The Baddest. She doesn't show up in the other one, so I didn't mention them. There's a short story here, which is basically an interview. It's Inside KDA, which is an interview with KDA. Evan is translating for Ahri, who is speaking exclusively in Korean. She's even asked how she feels being in the limelight again. Ahri's asked that, and Evelyn basically just translates this to, I don't like this question. Why do they always ask this question before actually translating it to her? Because she never left the limelight, baby, you know? It's rude. Ahri attributes KDA's success to Akali's parts because they're so unique. And her favorite part of Pop Stars is when they all get to dance together.
Aww.
And she's in comics, Harmonies. The band is having a hard time nailing a song, so Ahri orders a break and everyone goes and has their own little side stories. Akali and Seraphine head out, and Akali tells her that friction creates great music, and that's what she kept in mind when forming True Damage, and she just tries to emulate Ahri as the leader of True Damage. Then we see that Ahri is the one who called Seraphine initially to invite her to join the band in the first place. And we see Ahri and Evelyn are the ones who found Kaisa's dance school, and we get an Ahri flashback to when she was forced to play songs she didn't feel because they were popular. And she confided in Evelyn that she was going to break her contract and wanted to start a group with her. Then we see after Pop Stars released, it was Evelyn who sent her the video of Seraphine busking that led Ahri to, contact her in the first place. And then we have Sharp, an in-universe magazine all about the history of KDA, with interviews with the band, profiles of the members, trivia, fashion page, all that good stuff. Ahri's bio in this says, as the leader, founder, and main vocalist of KDA, Ahri graces the stage with confident charm. The calm center of the group, she values authentic self-expression and encourages her team to do the same. Ahri takes pride in discovering new talents and shaping them towards their full potential. And then, fun fact on this, in Legends of Runeterra, KDA have their own spells. Feel the Rush represents KDA All-Out Ahri. And, let's see, Prestige, KDA Ahri, Akali, Evelyn, and Kaisa have performed at Pop Music Awards. And finally, Odyssey Kane's a big fan of KDA Ahri's music.
Very important. And we're getting KDA Gragas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, we've got Star Guardians. I normally say what season the Star Guardian is featured in. Ahri is featured in season 1, 2, 3, and 4. All of them.
Slick.
This is the first time I have not gone back and reread all of the Star Guardian info.
Honey, I'm so proud of you.
I'm going to try and do it from memory because I've now read this shit so much, and so much of it is Ahri-centered.
Literally, yeah.
So, I'm going to try and recap this from memory. I'll then include the list of stories therein if you want to dig in deeper, but we're going to be doing like a Star Guardian episode soon, so it seems like a waste of time to... Since so much of it is centered around Ahri, she's going to be heavily featured in that episode, I'm sure. So Ahri led a team of Zaya, Rakan, Nico, and Misfortune. They tried to fight Zoe, and they got just fucking rocked. MF and Ahri got away. Zaya and Rakan died. Nico barely survived. She kind of pretended to be dead to try and rescue Zaya and Rakan. There's big bitterness there because MF wanted to stay and try and rescue. I think they all knew Rakan was dead. Zaya, Nico, they weren't sure. Misfortune wanted to rescue him. Ahri was like, there's no fucking way this is happening, and dragged Misfortune away. All Zaya remembers is like, you left me! So anywho, after that, Zoe kind of brought back Zaya and Rakan and corrupted them. Nico tried to rescue them. MF and Ahri thought that all three had basically died, so they went to form another team with Soraka, Ezreal, and Syndra. They met Lux's team at a retreat and helped them defeat some baddies. Then Ahri felt the presence of her old team, so went back to try and rescue them. She did manage to rescue Nico, but Zaya and Rakan were too far gone. So then Zoe attacked Valorant City with Zaya and Rakan. The other Guardians defended until Ahri and Nico got back. Rakan, turns out he wasn't fully corrupted, so he sacrifices himself to save Zaya from the corruption, and in doing so, does become fully corrupted himself. Then Ahri helps Zaya and her newly formed team of Seraphine, Senna, and Orianna to save the corrupted Rakan from the corruption. As of now, post the latest Star Guardian update, everyone seems pretty happy. There's no real corrupted people. Everything's all cool. We'll see if that continues after the next Star Guardian event, when Star Guardian Gragas is going to get released.
No, Draven.
If you do want to read more of this, these are the short stories you should read: Starfall, Slumber Party Summonings, Twilight Star, and Twin Stars. The cinematics are A New Horizon, Light and Shadow, and Everything Goes On. The comics are Star-Crossed, and the visual novel is Another Sky. She shows up in both the League version of Another Sky and the Wild Rift version of Another Sky, both of whom follow different Star Guardian teams.
Thank you, honey.
No
Those
problem.
are the AUs, yeah?
Yeah, those are
good stuff,
AUs.
man.
Nice. Yeah, I can't believe she's in like Star Guardian, Spirit Blossom, and KDA.
Yep.
Those are three of the most massive stories.
It's wild how popular she is. I think it's easy to kind of forget it. I don't know.
I know.
She really is like one of the faces of League, I think, and really fun to play, honestly.
There's not a lot of people you could release a $500 skin for.
Yeah, although people were pretty peeved from what I heard.
I mean, the people who weren't going to buy it were pretty peeved. The people who were going to buy it, they were happy and they
were gonna
bought
buy
it.
yeah.
So,
Sure.
Yeah, it's true.
Sure.
there's a few fun facts here.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Ahri's voiced by Laura Post, who also voices Star Guardian Ahri and Spirit Blossom Ahri. And I think also Ahri in... I forgot to write this down. Some other place. Some other place.
Sure.
Somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Ahri's name was decided by a poll held in the Riot Games Inc.'s Korean website. Essence Theft used to be called Soul Eater, but was renamed shortly after release. Early explorations of her Spirit Rush, her ult, included creating a zone where she could instantly blink to anywhere within the area, and the potential of a global dash.
I don't know what that second one even means, but I
I
don't
know,
like
right?
the idea of it. The first
do
one has
kind
kind of an Aurora feel to it.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
think they like reused that idea for Aurora, basically. Except she can just dash from like one end to the other.
Yeah.
Ahri is an adult Vastaya who's over a few hundred years old. She is likely 5 feet 5 inches high, which
Only a little taller than me.
Yeah,
is just extrapolating based on the fact that that is how tall KDA Ahri is. So
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
In the AUs, she's a little shorter.
right,
That's part of
Just
the
a few
Ultimate
inches.
Universe.
or a little taller. Maybe she's got better posture. You know. Ahri's dance references "Run Devil Run" by Girls' Generation. The first icon for Spirit Rush displays Ahri without fox ears, which harkens to the time when she didn't have them, because some of her older models for original and Midnight Ahri don't have the ears or whiskers. There was a poll, and one of the questions was most visually appealing champion in League. Ahri's visual appeal is statistically ranked number 1 among men and second among women, second only to Jinx.
It was exciting when Jinx was released because she was the first champion to have small breasts.
Right?
And I'm not exaggerating that. It was
Yeah.
yeah.
As part of Ahri's 2023 ASU, which Teemo's getting right now, her voiceover was updated to depict her life after the events of Ruined King. I wander, but I'm not lost, references Yasuo's "A wanderer isn't always lost" quote, and we are what our natures demand, right, Pike? Is a callback to a conversation between Ahri and Pike that they had in the game of Ruined King.
Aw.
There are a ton more quotes that are specific to that, but a lot of them just kind of, make sense at face value. I think like she has very specific quotes to Braum, Alawi, Lilia, MF, Pike, Rakan, Zaya, Yasuo, and Yone.
People that like she wouldn't have run into before
Right.
Ruin King. Yeah. Makes sense.
And I do like we kind of touched upon the fact that like they abandoned the whole narrative thread of her helping out Zaya and Rakan, and she does actually have a quote to Zaya that says, "I know who I am now, Zaya, and I know what I need to do."
Sorry, I ditched you. Again, happens in the Star Guardian AU too.
Whoopsies. Hey, at least I ditched you before you were dead this time.
That's fair. That was Ahri.
That's Ahri, part 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Ahri's update?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
one of
it's
the
nice
few
to see.
instances where I feel like we can't say like I want more. Like it'd be cool, but like you gave us a whole meal and you gave us some dessert, right? Thanks.
Ooh, I love
You
it.
gave us great lore plus
They
a
treat us
sweet
so
ass
nicely.
turn-based RPG.
Oh, well,
They
thank you
spoil
so
our
much
asses. Yeah.
Right?
for listening. I normally like to try to have a list of like the things I try to talk about at the end, but I was holding my phone with it unlocked for a very long time without me realizing it. So I accidentally erased my whole League of Lore Heads document and instead replaced it with I'm my old.
Sweet.
So I'm gonna have
Cool.
to retype that out. Anyway,
No,
thank
that's
you so
just
much
the
for
outro
listening. We have a twitch.tv/loreheads. John streams on Saturdays. He does TFT and ARAMs with viewers. We are busy this weekend, but I think he'll be streaming Saturday.
Yeah, it might be a little late.
Might
But
be a little late. You have been lately. Yeah, if you want to join him, he plays in the evenings, EST. You can play with him.
yeah,
Yeah.
Join
he
us.
won't yell at you at all.
I won't. We have friendly chats.
Friendly chats. Hopefully.
Yeah. If you're not friendly, you're out.
You're out. We also have a YouTube if you want to see our wonderful, stunning faces and, clips from the episodes and whatnot. Please check out our YouTube. We have a Discord. Find some people to chat with, play League with, post weird memes, talk about how old we are. You can join our
I
Discord.
have to do that.
It's okay, Henry.
Do it. Put
And
us
we
on
have a
blast.
Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Madarda tier patrons, Mr. Dead, Jesus Christ, Mr. Dead and King of Hearts. If you were getting the big Ahri suck in old Ahri, I would rescue you.
They might not want you to.
Don't worry, I would rescue you before things got too dead.
Yeah. Not too
There's
early.
There's a Holy Grail quote in here somewhere. What is, remember when they're saving Galahad?
Yeah.
It's in there somewhere, but I don't remember it. Any of the shit
Just a
that they
little
say.
bit.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh man, yes.
No, it's too perilous.
I could handle just a little bit of peril.
Anyway, please be sure to join us next week. October's coming along, and we're all very excited and hoping to spook up the podcast a little bit. Ooh. So we're gonna start by doing a dive into the alternate universe, Coven.